Welcome and thanks for joining me for Pathfinder Kingmaker. This is Journeys in the Stolen Lands. We finished up at Bald Hilltop with the latest portal that was open there. Now we just need to take care of the event here in the Kingdom Management that should finish that up. Legendary Scourge. 31%, but this one day event, it seems like it's always successful. I'm not going to waste a crisis point here if we don't need to. We'll skip a day. Let's see, these... I'm hoping we'll have one more day that we can actually get Tristan put on the livestock deaths. Guess we can go ahead and put Lander here. Okay, skip a day. Well, first, we've got an advisor we can add. A curator. The curator oversees education in the barony and also supports the fine arts. The curator also cares about the mark the barony leaves in Golarian's history of arts. Okay. Yeah, it's got to be storyteller. Okay, now. We can skip one day. Alright, the curse gains power. It's finished. The way to report. The barony managed to persevere and enjoys peace once again. And we're still... Okay, we can put Tristan on this now. Livestock deaths. And Lander wants to talk to us. Lander smiles carelessly. Your Grace, a poor fellow, a nobleman from Brevoy, has been found near the gates. Sadly, his caravan was ambushed. It seems the bandits, who live in the forest, claimed it for themselves. It was Davor the Grey who arranged the ambush. See how hard he works to fill your coffers. The merchant demands that we find and hang the ambushers and compensate him for his damages. What makes him think that we're ready to pay? Was it we who robbed him? Did he pay us to ensure his safety? Nothing of the sort. We must send a message to him and all the other merchants. Anyone looking to travel safely across our lands should dip into their purses. Just ignore his whining, Your Grace. So we can send guards and reimburse him, or we can send guards and not reimburse him. We can let him deal with it himself. We can give him money and tell him to go, and we're not going to search for bandits. What is it he wants us to do? Just ignore it? This one? -10 to economy. Jeez. I don't think we're going to do that. I think we'll send guards to search, but we're not reimbursing them. Labeda rolls the eyes. Oh, but what's the point? Your Grace will cut Davor's head off, and the locals will elect a new chieftain who will step up and cause the same trouble that Davor did. Mark my word. Okay, yeah, but our economy doesn't take a huge hit. Alright, took care of that. Ancient Curse Part 3, a way to report. Alright, so we had a bunch of new stuff here. We've got several rank ups to do. It might be time to take care of those. Look at this mess. We've got 5 rank ups. Is everybody busy though? They are all previously occupied. So we can't do any of those. Economy. Community receives an additional +1 whenever the regent achieves a triumph. Cost of buildings with a static economy bonus is reduced by 15%. Easier resolution of economic problems, +2 bonus, solving any problems with the treasurer. Build a town. Oh, so we can upgrade another one of our settlements to a town. That's good. Can't do that yet either, though. Then we got the trade agreements. Okay. Training. We can strengthen Bartholomew. He's actually available. We don't have the BP. Not sure I want to spend... I might buy some BP, but I'm not sure I want to spend it on that. We actually got 2... Oh, treasure. He's our... We're not using him as a treasurer, though. We are using him as diplomat, I believe. Isn't he the grand diplomat? Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is buy some BP to use to get our settlement here in Silverstep up and running. Okay, I bought 200 BP and we're basically out of gold. So I built what we can. We got the wall going, the piers, stocks, bulletin board, then our longhouse, tavern, and barracks over here. And that's all we can do for now. Okay, so we've got to wait for some stuff to finish here before we can do like these rank ups and things. So we're done here for a while. Okay, we got a visitor here. Ekun. Ekun's face is grim. Caught a swindler. He tried to pour a love potion into a merchant daughter's drink. Her family is well known and the case is unusual. The people are watching and his guilt is already proven, but the judges don't know how to punish him. You must decide. The usual punishment is a fine, but in this case, too soft. My suggestion, a prison sentence. Execute the fool. Okay, throw him in jail. Wise choice. Okay, I think that opened up a new project or something in here. Let's see what that was. Crime prevention. That takes BP, which we don't have. And now we've got a rank up for stability. We've got lots of rank ups to do. We're just... Actually, he's free. We can do that one. And that'll finish up some of the other things. Okay. Here we go. Okay, the next ancient curse gains power. We need to talk about that. Failure with this. Opportunity. Failure with craftsman strike. Failure with the noble in trouble. The noble refused to pay the general for her rescue and turned to the locals for help. Responding generously to a neighbor's plea, they pushed the boat from the sandbank. The citizens will long remember how the Baron's advisors are extortionists and blackmailers. Success with the livestock deaths. Counselor ordered all the sick livestock slaughtered and their remains burnt to ash. And we finished the divine protection from poison. Okay. Now, okay, we've got people that want to talk. And maybe we can do some more of these rank ups then. Well, let's go back to the throne room. I think we've got lots of stuff to catch up with now here. Lander. I bring tidings in good measure and bad. As for the good, it seems the Restov Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori honors us with her attention. She dotted you a nice little letter. The bad tidings, she wants us to prove ourselves worthy of such recognition. Kane, I have a problem and no one else to turn to but you. I need someone to travel to a town south of Restov, Varnhold. Okay. The town was founded by Maker Varn. You met him at the reception to celebrate your new title. Recently, I've stopped getting reports from him. I didn't pay much attention to it, but in the past week, not a single traveler, merchant, or messenger from Varnhold has showed up in Rostov. No one knows what has happened to the town. If I were you, I would make sure I was ready for this journey. The plains of Dunsword are dangerous. Also, we have yet to find out what it was that cut off communication with Varnhold. An attack, arcane magic, or some epidemic or plague? I would have gladly investigated the matter, but the current state of affairs dictates I refrain from dealing with this personally. I am counting on you and your help. Head out for Dunsword and find out what or who stands behind the vanishing of Varnhold. Your friend and ally, Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori. Okay, so this is the beginning of that whole situation. The Varnhold vanishing. That's like the main quest, isn't it? Remember that annoying Maker Varn who couldn't stop pestering you? I didn't think he was that annoying. Seems like he grew tired of Aldori's leash so he stopped answering the Sword Lord's letters. But Varn alone wouldn't raise so much concern. According to the letter, the settlement itself seems to have vanished. Jamandi Aldori expects your help with this matter, for she knows of your good relations with Maker. She asks you to go to Varnhold and find out why they have fallen silent. Why would the Sword Lords care about Varnhold? Jamandi Aldori seeks allies with anyone who has proven to be trustworthy, even if only a little. Considering that Varnhold is the closest thing to an outpost on the east edge of the River Kingdoms, it's also useful to her in keeping an eye on Dunsword and the surrounding area. What do we know of Varnhold? This barony is much alike your own. It was also established by a mercenary, Maegor Varn. He got his title at the same event you did. Maegor Varn is third or fourth son in the family, so he couldn't claim his father's inheritance. Looks like he hoped to establish a settlement of his own and gain wealth and prosperity that way. What do you think has happened to Varnhold? A riot? A rebellion? But if that were the case, there would be refugees. Whatever happened there, it must have been sudden indeed. Perhaps a bandit attack, barbarians, a plague. Whatever it was, no one outside Varnhold seems to know what happened. Maybe Varn simply decided to stop dealing with Restov. Judging by Aldori's letter, the silence doesn't seem voluntary. Otherwise, at least one person would have reached the neighbor and spoken about what had happened there. Okay, Varnhold isn't far off. We should find out what happened there before the same fate befalls us, too. Then it's time to gather a party and head to Varnhold, Your Grace. And Jubilost. Well, we will go to Varnhold eventually, but I think we have some things to take care of first. Amazing. You managed to save your barony from an invasion of monsters from the First World, but you were not able to protect it from the attention of the First World's more powerful denizens. Believe it or not, but Shrike Hills has been chosen as the next location for the Inconsequent Debates. The Inconsequent Debates? What's that? A curious phenomenon that isn't very well known. They say it's based on a bet made by the eldest, the rulers of the First World, quite a long time ago. One day, one of them sent a delegation of Fae to Golarion. They announced where the competition would take place. Don't let the name fool you, it's anything but debates. The contest begins as soon as they have enough participants. The contests and the reward are different every time, although every time is a stretch. Only 3 such occasions are known over thousands of years. Anyway, it's happened again, and this time the reward is a chance to ask any question whatsoever of the host, the competition's mastermind. This creature, whoever it is, speaks on behalf of the eldest. Do you see why we can't miss such a chance? I don't. Tell me. Just think, we have an opportunity to ask a question of the host, the messenger of the self-appointed deities of the First World, and demand an answer. The gnomes originally ventured from the First World, lost their immortality because of it, and received our curse in exchange, the bleaching. No one has discovered the reasons for it, and none can stave off its consequences, but if we manage to win the competition. Do you know anything about these debates, or are we completely in the dark here? You never know what mad ideas the Fae might have cooked up. I only know one condition. Only teams of 3 are allowed to participate. Who do you think we should take as our third? I think we should take Lindsay. Something tells me Fae are not likely to hold competitions in rope pulling or beer drinking, but the skills of a bard might come in handy. Besides, we should give the young lady a chance to channel some of that energy. Can participating be dangerous? Considering that the Fae are involved, absolutely. But if the chronicles are true, no one has died in any previous debate. Okay, we can't pass up such an opportunity. I agree to participate. Great, I'll mark the spot on the map where the competition will take place. The sooner we arrive there, the better. The Fae Lords won't wait forever. Okay. And we've got our crew here. And we put this hat on Lindsay. That looks pretty bad, Lindsay. Hooray, we did it. Another attack has been repelled, and the barony is stronger than ever. Your grateful subjects even brought you a gift to honor this outstanding success. Unfortunately, now is no time to rest. While everyone was preparing for the last attack, I was looking for a way to overcome the curse. I read some ancient books, talked to the locals, and then I had a word with our storyteller, and we decided that, well, he'll tell it better. The storyteller clears his throat. I am a keeper of stories, Your Grace, and I have amassed a respectable collection over my long life. There are, of course, stories of curses among them, ancient and dark, having taken thousands of lives, destroyed kingdoms, and brought down... Lindsay, well, our curse isn't exactly a real curse. We think there's someone specific behind these attacks. Oh, I'm sorry. Realizing she interrupted the storyteller, Lindsay turns bright red. Christian turns pale. It's not a curse? Then what is it? If this isn't a curse, then what could it be? We don't know yet, but that part doesn't matter. Lindsay waves her hand carelessly. What's important is that we are finally making some real progress. I would imagine that the person behind these attacks is someone harboring great evil against you and your barony. I would not be surprised if it's the same adversary who was behind the bloom. I agree. After the last attack, I got the feeling that the owlbears and manticores came here as revenge for what we did to the ever-blooming flower. I'm more interested in defeating it than understanding it. Lindsay, pff, with swords and spells, of course. You can't chop an ancient curse to bits, but I'm sure the villain behind the attacks would suffice. Lindsay, I think the Baron is asking whether we yet know the name of our adversary. Alas, the answer to that question is no, at least for now. Personally, I believe it is the work of some fae. I recognize their hand, so to speak. Whoever or whatever caused these attacks, I am sure they will continue. We must be ready to repel the next one. That's exactly what we'll do. Sooner or later, the villain will show himself. Once he slips up, we can finally punish him for all the trouble he's caused. Lindsay frowns belligerently. Tristan chuckles faintly. I didn't expect such vitriol from you, Lindsay. In any case, I would advise hearing this villain out before punishing him. We still have no idea why this unknown enemy is targeting us in particular. I'm sure we'll know our foe's face soon enough. We've repelled his attacks 3 times now. He must be reaching the limits of his patience. He won't get away with this forever. Okay. Anyone else?
This time, the disaster didn't hit us, but our neighbors. Varnhold, a small town east of our barony, had been deserted in an instant.
Okay, the price of curiosity. And then, guessing we're going to get a Varnhold vanishing pop up here. There we go. Varnhold vanishing. Strange news from Restov. It seems that Maegor Varn, our closest neighbor, and someone who'd been quite kind to the Baron in the past, has suddenly become reclusive, cutting off all communication with the outside world. Jamandi Aldori wants an explanation for this silence, but she can't be bothered to travel to Varnhold herself. Instead, she makes it our Baron's job to figure everything out. Okay, and then we got the Ancient Curse Part 4 in 227 days. Okay. Well, we still have kingdom stuff, so let's jump back in here. We did get a chunk of gold, but I don't think I'm going to spend that on BP just yet. Okay, we've got a couple problems here. We'll get started up. Rest in peace. A local leader and a loyal servant to the crown has died. He was a pillar of the community and the embodiment of stability. His death has stirred the community and raised questions about the future. Put Tristan on that. And then red light, we've had this one before. We'll put storyteller on that. This is a cool one. We'll definitely want to do when we've got a little bit more BP at our disposal. Doubles our movement speed on mountainous terrain. That will be really nice to have. We've got several things here that I really want to do. Just don't have the BP at the moment or the money to buy the BP. But what little BP we do have, I want to finish up some of the building here in Silvershire. Okay, we didn't quite have enough to finish everything here, but we've got a shrine going now and a monument and a lumber yard out here. We still have a couple open spots. I'm not going to buy any BP at this time. We have about 9,000 gold. I could buy about 100 BP, but I want to save that gold in case we need... I think we're going to need to buy supplies before our trip out to Varnhold. Wow, look at this deck of cards here. We could do some ranking up, and that would build up some BP that we could use to maybe finish those buildings. So let's Let's see who we want to do first here. Rank 4, rank 5. Counselor is busy. Let's do Divine. Okay, let's go. Okay, Divine's rank 3. And success with the rest in peace. Counselor was able to find a noble successor to the deceased. The people are reassured that the world remains stable and life goes on. Failure with the red light. Okay, I think he failed with, or somebody, not him, but we failed with this another time already. And we did build up some BP again. We're near the end of the month again. Harim wants to talk. We've got... Alright, a talented provincial mosaic artist is planning to decorate one of the largest temples in the barony. However, the halfling is notorious for her overly critical attitude towards authority. The curator should act to keep things calm before it's too late. We can put storyteller on that, and then justice of the crowd. A crowd of enraged peasants is trying to lynch a young Asimar girl. The people feel certain that she casts hexes and steals children, though there is no real proof of this. Landers on that. Start those up, and then we'll go talk to Harim. Oh, okay. This is where we can import our DLC. Varnhold's Lot. Cool. Select a save to import your character and the decisions you've made while playing Varnhold's Lot into the main story. This choice is permanent. You won't be able to cancel it and import a different outcome unless you reload the game to a point before the import. Okay, we only have one game to import from, so we will do that. Harim appears in the doorway, loudly shouting down the corridor and trying to block a visitor's way. However, they don't budge, and finally the priest is pushed backwards into the room, shouting all the while, "Away, go away, I'm telling you, the Baron isn't seeing anyone. He's busy, and isn't here." "Forgive me, respected Harim, but I must speak to the Baron." A young dwarf limps into the room. She doesn't look well. Her face is bruised, her armor crumpled, and her arm is dressed with rags, brown from dried blood. Nevertheless, she begins with a ceremonious bow. "Your Grace, my name is Rudrin of the Skeggi clan, and I've come to beg your help. My kin are in grave..." Harim interrupts her with indignation. "How do you know my name?" "I was told of you by our leader, the revered Jarmold Torag's paladin. He is hoping to meet you in person. He has so many questions for you. A dwarf who rejected Torag, became a priest of Groetus, and now sits in an important position at the court of the Baron. Such tales are rare." Harim's face is exploding with red and white spots. He furiously grabs his beard. "Torag's paladin, and he wants to talk to me? What impudence, what shameless brazen," although Harim turns to you. "You know, perhaps we should help them. I want to see this paladin with my own eyes, and the trap he walked his congregation into." Oh, I hate these, because it's the lawful evil choice, but, like, that's just gonna end this quest. What's this trouble you've gotten yourselves into? "Many ages ago, our ancestors, together with the other clans, built a road here, and a chain of fortresses along it. Unfortunately, they were forced to leave these lands. But now that you've established order here, we decided to return, to rekindle our clan's legacy. We found the entrance to the Adamantine Shield Fortress, but when we tried to enter, Rudrin winces and touches her bandaged arm. When our ancestors left, they charmed the gate of the fortress and locked it with a key, which has long been kept safe by our clan as a relic. We brought it with us, but when we inserted it into the lock and turned, something incredible happened. The gate fell to ashes, and we saw that the lock was upon the chest of a huge golem, which attacked us immediately." Harim snorts. "I'm sure the creator of this golem prayed devoutly to Torag while he made it, never thinking for a moment that this piece of iron might someday turn on his own. How dwarvish. We managed to hide up on a hill, but we'd backed ourselves into a trap. The golem just stood below, waiting for us to come down. 2 of us sacrificed their lives, distracting it to give me a chance to escape and find help. Please save them. You are our only hope." Oh, we can still hang her. Alright, we'll help. Thank you, your grace. The Skeggy clan owes you. Here's a map. It shows where to find the fortress. Hiram fiddles with his beard pensively. I would ask you, if you go to help them, take me with you. I know it's folly to gloat, but I would see with my own eyes our proud guests from the Five Kings Mountains caught in such a mess, and then send them home with my own tongue. I hope you will allow me this small pleasure. Your grace, I must warn you, this is no ordinary golem. He's made of adamantine. He's almost impossible to destroy even with magical weapons. But if you wear it out for long enough in battle, it will collapse for a while to restore its strength. At that moment, you'll need to pull the key from its chest. If I know anything about mechanics, that should switch it off. And if you don't, Hiram's gloomy question hovers unanswered in the silence. Okay. Unbreakable metal. So, as is typical, we all of a sudden have a lot of things to do, including the main quest. But, as usual as well, we still have stuff here in the Kingdom Affairs. We've got some rank ups. That's what I'm going to focus on. But let's see if there's anything else we want to start up. We did get some more BP, so I could probably finish building out Silvershire. Okay, we're building up a brewery, and then we added a second tavern here. Will give us. We've kind of got this longhouse here with the two taverns, and then both of the taverns next to the barracks, which gives each of those a +1 to espionage, and the +1 to relations for being next to the longhouse. All right, so Silvershire is done. Okay, we've got a little bit of BP left, and I'm going to try this aviary here in the capital. We've got slots. This is a cool looking building. +1 to relations and espionage. It allows governing the barony from adjacent regions, even if those regions are not a part of the barony. In addition, lowers the time required to resolve events by 1 day in this and adjacent regions. That's really nice building. Wasn't sure the best place to put that. We just stuck it here next to the Mage's Tower. Also, we need to get I think just another Mage's Tower in another town. And then we'll be able to fast travel between those. So that'll be nice as well. Okay, so the next rank up we're going to do here is for loyalty. Okay, loyalty's rank 4. We got success with justice of the crowd. Waiting until the victim was burned at the stake, the regent planted evidence against her and introduced strict laws against independent wizardry. Peace was restored in the region. Okay, we lost some arcane from that. Okay, new stuff. Knock Knock wants to talk. Okay, so we're going to start up undead sightings. A band of hulking undead creatures was seen in the region. The locals are terrified of the dark of night and the strange sounds they hear coming from the shadows. Ragongar's on that one. Then we're putting Canera on the fire. A terrible fire struck the settlement, consuming many buildings. The people need immediate help. It doesn't say like what settlement that is. Anywhere that I can see. I don't know if it just means Tuskdale. That nature's rage. Animals are flying into inexplicable rages. Wild beasts emerge from the woods to attack people. Livestock try to kick their owners, and even loyal dogs bite the hands that feed them. Someone must find the cause of these strange events and put a stop to them. Christian is on that. Okay, then Knock Knock wants to talk. This should be interesting. Oh, and Jod is here first. Oh, Keston. Oh, jeez, everybody. Okay. Your Grace. Keston coughs politely. The goblin, the one you found, has asked to see you. He claims you are in need of training. I think he is rather in need of a bath. Several. Tell him I await in the dungeon, and when he enters a cell, shackle him there. Or execute him. Oh, I'll hear what he has to say. Send him in. Knock Knock strides in as best as his short legs can manage, then his gait slows, then stops as he takes in the throne room. His eyes and ears swivel independently as if trying to take every direction in at once. After scanning the area around him, he looks upward and squints, as if uncertain if there's a ceiling above him or not. He stands still, swaying slightly, eyes affixed on the ceiling. Others in the throne room are disdainfully silent. Some wrinkle their nose and take a step back. Some of the guards' hands fall to the hilt of their blades. Knock Knock's head snaps down, then seeing you, he gives a sickle grin, his eyes gleaming. Sidekick? Almost didn't see among all Longshanks. He frowns at your throne, then cocks his head, confused. Why in my chair? There's a light chuckle from someone in the room, quickly silenced. Took a while to find way here. Knock Knock glances around. But now here to take rightful place. Be a hero and show you how to be a hero. He nods sharply and hooks his fingers in his belt. I can help, like before, side by side, big hero, he points to himself. And not big hero, he pauses. You need it. Oh, how can you help? Keston frowns. Actually, Your Grace, if you are considering accepting assistance from this... Knock Knock. Knock Knock raps the ground with his heel twice for emphasis, then winces. Keston's frown deepens. If this Knock Knock truly wishes to be of help and is one goblins might listen to, there have been sightings of goblins near Oleg's, possibly dispossessed by our recent encounter. Massacre, Knock Knock corrects brightly. Chopped them all up, except for those who ran fast. New tribe probably have very long legs, very hard to catch. His eyes alight and he grins. But not for me, I can round them up. But, he frowns again, but unless they were still being chased, it's not like them to keep moving. Tires won out. They'd better stay in the capital, like Knock Knock. Even if, he wrinkles his nose, it smell bad here. Ah, yes. Oleg has sent word of these goblins via courier, but he has been reluctant to leave in case they raid the post in his absence. Apparently, they've been quite diligent in trying to raid his storeroom. If your goblin ally could deal with them... Okay, very well, we'll travel to Oleg's soon. Knock Knock nods, then pauses as he sees you remaining seated. Do we go now? We'll depart when I say. Knock Knock nods, then pauses as he sees you remaining seated. Do we go now? It might be wise if I shepherded or accompanied you. Knock Knock nods, standing proudly. He makes what might be a ragged salute, interrupted by him noticing something on his wrist, which he rubs away with a frown. As you command, as a hero... He rubs his wrist again, then grunts. We'll go. Lead to post. Knock Knock follow. Guess Jod was just escorting him there. Okay. Knock Knock and the trouble with goblins. Okay, we've got a project here for a trade agreement with Gralton. Takes 75 BP. Then gives us +5 to our economy. So I think we'll go ahead and start that one up with Bartholomew. And then we can rank up Lander here. Community rank 5. And success with an artist's freedoms. It's hard to say whether the curator's lavish gift changed the young artist's mind, but there are no unflattering portraits of the Baron or any other such rebellious material to be seen on the new temple mosaics. And triumph with the fire. Thanks to the advisor's help, the settlement has survived. The subjects weren't abandoned in their hour of need. They celebrate their Baron and offer their thanks and gratitude. Scandal in the capital. We need to go to the throne room. Curator needs our help in the throne room. Brevin Envoy awaits in the throne room. River Tricksters. Nixies and Nereids have come to live in one of the rivers of the barony. They claim that now these waters belong to them and have started sinking all the boats and ships that pass by. And Poltergeist in the temple. A poltergeist has appeared in the local temple, terrifying the area. It's rumored to be a wayward soul seeking revenge for an injustice. Okay, so Jod is on this. And Canera is on the River Tricksters. And it's back to the throne room. Lander, Baron, we have a situation on our hands. You need to act. Lander is furious, his face red. Anemede, an annoying little skylark from Pidax, is giving a show in the main square, and her songs are highly seditious. Remind me who's Anemede again? She's among the most talented bards of Pidax, but more importantly, she's one of King Iravetti's most favored singers. Anything she sings almost certainly promotes his agenda. Okay, let's go to the square. Okay, what do we got going on here? Looks like Lindsay there. Oh, is that Anemede? She's wearing the same hat as Lindsay? Anemede Bellavara, the charming bard from Pidax, stands before you with a lute in her hand, surrounded by a crowd of the capital's citizens. I feel like something's missing here. In a moment, she notices you and blows you a kiss. What's going on here? Anemede gives you a warm smile. Your Grace, you're so preoccupied with matters of war and state, but someone has to think about spiritual matters as well. None of the river kingdoms can match Pidax in the fields of art. Who better than our bards and artists to bring the gift of song to the people of this young barony? Lindsay blushes. Maestro Bellavara, I'm so happy to see you here, but why are your songs so cruel? Lander, let her tell us all about her so-called art. She began her performance with hails to King Iravetti, and continued with a song about a certain young noble from Brevoy, who searched the stolen lands in hopes of finding a potion of wisdom, which was supposed to make him smarter, but instead, by mistake, he always found and drank potions of conceit. The name of the hero in the song was Rander Rabeda. Lady Bellavara, you should be more respectful in your statements. My dear Baron, I'm just a humble bard, and my songs are just an innocent way to make people smile and lighten their moods. Though if someone feels offended by my show, that someone can always demand satisfaction from me at the Rushlight Tournament in Pidax. It's an honest competition, words against words, talent against talent. That's the place where one may demonstrate his or her prowess. What is this Rushlight Tournament? How could you not know? This is one of the greatest Pitaxian traditions. Once every few years, the king announces the date of the tournament. We greet guests from all around the river kingdoms on the banks of the Rushlight River. The whole day of the tournament is full of mirth and the spirit of competition. Everyone has a chance to prove themselves. Fighters, archers, singers, storytellers, and even fans of strong drinks. The drinking competition is an important part of the program. It would be my pleasure. Oh, we can still arrest her. Oh, we've had several lawful evil responses that I just can't do. Because I'm afraid they're just going to lock us out of a quest that I want to do. It'd be my pleasure. King Iravetti will be happy to hear this. See you in Pidax then, Your Grace. The bard gives you a teasing glance from under her eyelashes, and then she bows and leaves. I'm not sure what was going on there with the visuals. Like there was supposed to be a group of people there and it was just empty. Okay. Where's our throne room? Here we go. And storyteller. My respects, Your Grace. I'm sorry to disturb you, but there is an important issue concerning my responsibilities. As a curator, I could not help but notice that the level of education in your barony is abysmal. Many citizens don't know how to read, and they send their children out not to study, but to work from dawn to dusk. We must break this vicious circle. Make the first step. Order the opening of village schools, or at least contact the priests who are educated enough to teach their congregation reading, writing, and natural science. Of course, this will require no little investment, but the result will justify any expense. Okay, do we have that much BP? I wish I don't want it to throw us into the negative, which it might. We will open schools. I don't want my lands to be inhabited by uneducated bumpkins. Well, I hope we've got that much in our treasury. A wise decision. And these two. Highland. The captain's unusually untroubled face is dark with rage. Your Grace, please forgive me for distracting you from important matters, but you are the only one who can talk some sense into these hotheads. They had an argument in the middle of the street, yelled so much your subjects called the guards. But what can they do about Lady Valerie? Plus, Eveld hasn't done anything illegal. It's not like I can put them in jail. Valerie, explain yourself. Valerie looks down, ashamed. I humbly beg your forgiveness, Kane. I failed to control my temper and besmirched, not only myself, but you as my leader. The girl casts a burning glance at the man in sophisticated attire standing beside her. Unfortunately, I was provoked. Eveld, the silver-tongued. The man catches Valerie's glance and gasps with indignation. Is that so? So it's, forgive my manners, your grace. Allow me to introduce myself. Eveld, the silver-tongued, from Brevoy. It's a pity we meet under such circumstances, but you actually introduce yourself as the silver-tongued. This, so to speak, sweet lady insulted me, if you please, in front of my audience, halted my performance, and embarrassed me in front of the entire tavern. Would you please be so kind as to rein this lady in? Valerie is apparently trying to control herself, but telltale red spots flare on her face. I noticed that someone pinned a disgusting pasquinade next to the tavern entrance. Something about a bright bird who lost its feathers. That's abominable insolence. Yes, I won't deny I'm guilty. I lost my temper, but who wouldn't have? Eveld gasps with indignation. Is that so? When I smothered this lady with exquisite compliments, I received only insults and jokes in return. When I came to her with gifts, begging her to become the muse for my greatest work, I was ridiculed and sent away like a snotty boy. And now, the moment I start to pursue my art away from this good lady, she seeks me out and says I'm guilty of spiteful slander. What shall I do? I'm but a slave to my inspiration, which is sent to me from above. Eveld smooths down his hair and adds, and while we're on the subject of my poetry, it's really not that bad. I don't care who said what to whom. You're going to make peace now, right here in front of me. Valerie almost screams. I'm not going to make peace with this worthless paper stainer. Let him spend his useless time insulting his other bootlickers. Your tongue befits your beauty, my sweet. Truly, what is a beautiful flower's bud worth if it's worm-eaten and empty on the inside? Enough, both of you. First, you scared everybody at the tavern, and now you're embarrassing yourselves in front of the Baron. Apologize at once, if not to each other, then at least to his grace. I don't know what got into me, your grace. Forgive me this scene. And Valerie, please forgive me, Kane. Perhaps I should leave to calm down and come to my senses. Highland, that's nice. You let some steam off and worked some things out. At least now I can let you go, hoping you won't scare our good people anymore. Your Grace, I'll go too, but please keep an eye on Valerie. I don't know what demon has got into her, but she's not herself lately. At first she just snapped, then she started getting into fights with everyone about stupid things, and now she's dragged this bard out of the tavern by his collar. I'm afraid it might come to real violence. What do you mean hasn't been herself? She got defensive. Can't say a word to her. We've been careful around her since the captain runs a finger across his face, meaningfully. I'm close to ordering my lads to keep an eye out for her in the streets to make the common people's lives a little calmer. You think Valerie could hurt someone? Well, I wouldn't say that. The Valerie I used to know would never harm anyone without good reason, but the old Valerie seems to be gone, so I don't know what to expect from her. I'll talk to Valerie when I get a chance. If I were you, I would talk to the storyteller. One of my lads saw Valerie arguing with him. I have no idea how anyone can have a fight with such a harmless elf, but she did. Okay, and Hawkins here. We are busy in the kingdom. Serbic Ring. Serbic Ring. When this ring's wearer attacks with bombs, they deal an additional 1d6 damage. Okay. Alright. Still have stuff to do here. We're going to have to get to Varnhold. I don't know. There's probably some sort of time limit on that quest. So I don't want to start running into problems because we haven't addressed that issue. Okay, we do have some more ranking up to do, but I think we've probably passed enough time here that I need to go visit Varnhold. I don't want to let this go too long and then run into problems because we didn't address it. So we've got lots of companion stuff to do, lots of things going on, but I think Varnhold would be good to get started on. And then we'll get back to this stuff when we can. Thanks for being here. I know we did a lot of stuff here in kingdom management and talking to people. Next time we will be back out on the road. We're going to need to pick up supplies and head out and investigate Varnhold. Thanks for being here and watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you again here in the Stolen Lands. Bye-bye.